on Citizen FM 93.7. This is the fun-packed radio show you heard about. Did you miss any one of our programming today? Join me, Diddy, from the Citizen Hut when we run through our programs from sunrise. Stay abreast, get informed on news roundup. It even gets better. Do you think you know Nigeria? Answer 3 questions correctly and be one of our daily winners on quizzes. It is the full package. Let's take you back, way back on African Vibes. Let's celebrate the African people, the rich cultures across borders, the languages, the good food, and wealth of excellence on African Vibes. Join me every Monday to Friday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. It is on Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja.
We teach girls shame. Close your legs, cover yourself. We make them feel as though by being born female, they're already guilty of something.
So I think right now we have the chance to be heard, and that's why we're doing it. We're all doing it because we're asking to try and elicit change.
No woman should sit down and allow a man to speak about her reproductive rights.
But it is about opening spaces for other women and not to be seen as token, and that because I'm a woman, I'm only speaking about women at the table. No, I'm speaking about side of the table that is empty and that women have to be there. So
I want us to leave this world better than we found it. And how I choose to affect change is by speaking up, by being the first and by being the dominant.
Over 4 billion of the world's population are girls and women, also faced with challenges that affect our world and contributing solutions to them. Let's have conversations and get some answers to them through their eyes and voices. Tune in to Perspectives, where we discuss important issues ranging from climate change, politics, health, the economy, and lifestyle on Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja. Weekdays from midday. Perspectives. Conversations that matter.
Omundem no munam ogendibo na biazuru unu obosi Saturday no obosi Sunday no wataka nelekere nka ano ogendibo boge anyi ji anori ogigi na ekene ezepu na-eji akpọrịkọta ụbụbọ kabaru na-esonyela anyị nke a bụ Nkai umunnem dalunu.
Eunanda ni bila kane reni. Ile di kunyana na kwa bani bila vabesaka ineta Abuja anabi Citizen FM 93.7. Era so metete ene ya ni bila va se no seve ini radio ononi. Eku yo ni va se no seve ini ya bani bila saka ovi eku ijumo eku Saturday ateku yo se eku etononi agugo himboluva ava se men. Wa bani bila do ye ineta Abuja ezo wa ya kene ake wale jiri nuwo do aka isana na inoku down ni. E bila kanere ume ovi oni va se kale ni ya bani bila saka de kada wona geten aboni.
Citizen FM Abuja. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on Insight on Citizen FM 93.7. My name is Lawrence Umotte. The 2023 elections are over. Well, maybe except for Kebbi and Adamawa states and a few other constituencies. But results have been declared largely from the elections. Those who were declared winners are preparing for office, while others are headed for the tribunals to challenge the outcome. For the political parties, it may be a time for stock taking. But for Nigeria, and also in the interest of the electoral process, it may just be about time to revisit the activities of these political parties, their operations, laws, antecedents, and everything about them. It may also be a good time to scrutinize their adherence to their own laws. That will be the focus of Insight today. Political parties and internal democracy. And my guest today is Jide Ojo, one of our friends on Citizen FM here. He's a media commentator, a development expert, and author, and also a columnist. Jide, thank you for joining me on Insight.
My pleasure, Larry. Good morning. Good morning, Abuja. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Africa. Good morning, the universe.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Jide Ojo. And meanwhile, beautiful write-up of The Punch this week. I read it. It was so great, as usual. Okay, Jide. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I said, meanwhile, beautiful write-up in your column this week on The Punch newspaper.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. You can join our live stream on YouTube by simply typing in 93.7 and you'll be part of our live stream. You can also listen to us online on www.ng, and you can also follow us on social media platforms, on Facebook at Citizen FM Abuja, on Instagram at Citizen FM Abuja, and also on Twitter at Citizen FM 937. And you can also send us a WhatsApp message on any of these numbers, and we will be glad to have you. And so that's how it's going to be on the program. By 10:30, we will open the phone lines. But for now, we will beam our searchlight on the political parties. But Jide, before we start, yesterday the Department of State Service issued a statement which a lot of Nigerians found to be very disturbing. Let me just read how our channel's news TV puts that report. The Department of State Service says the plot to set aside the Constitution and install an interim government by, quote, misguided political actors is real. DSS spokesman Peter Afunaya, in a statement, vowed that the secret police will use all arsenals at its disposal to frustrate such a plot. The secret police also said some key players in the plot for an interim government in Nigeria have been identified. The DSS had on Saturday warned politicians to desist from peddling hate speech and all forms of false narrative to ignite violence or pit citizens against the current government of President Muhammad Buhari and the incoming administration of President-elect Bola Tinubu. So, Jide, how would you react to this?
Well, it's very unfortunate, and very unfortunate to the extent that Nigerians have lost memories of what we went through under the military junta from 1985, 1983 to 1999. Because that period, if you look at it very well, 1983 December 31 was when the incumbent president took over from the civilian administration of Alhaji Shehu Shagari, and by 1990 the Babangida administration initiated the transition to civil rule, but that in itself was truncated by the Assembly in 1993.
Okay, hello, Jide. Looks as if we've lost Jide. We will try to get back to Jide Ojo. Don't go away. Insight will return in a moment. Thank you for staying tuned. It's still Insight on Citizen FM 93.7. And my guest, Jide Ojo, is back on the line. Jide, so sorry we lost you for a bit there.
Okay. So I was saying it's a very disturbing development that some people are angling for interim government or military takeover because of the disputed presidential election. And these people, some of them didn't realize, or maybe they were too young to understand what many of us, you and I, went through under the military junta from December 31, 2000, December 31, 1983, when the military struck under the Muhammadu Buhari regime, and the takeover of the leadership by Babangida on August 27, 1985, and then the transition to civil rule, which Babangida started in 1990, and the never-ending transition, which culminated in the annulment of June 12, 1993 presidential election, and then the installation of the interim national government under Chief as well as the ruling of the court that interim national government is unknown to Nigeria Constitution. This history is not known to many who are calling for interim government right now. And we have threaded this path before. And people need to know that, yes, there have been a disputed election. Nigeria is not the only country where there have been disputed elections. The last presidential election in the U.S. was disputed. And up to today, there are many Republicans. In fact, about last week, CNN did an opinion poll among the Republican Party members, and 66% still believe that Joe Biden stole the election for Democratic Party in the November 2020 presidential election. This is almost 3 years after that election. After the court has ruled on that election, the Republican Party members, the same way that members of the Labour Party and the People's Democratic Party believe that this election was stolen for APC. And so when you look at the scenario that played out in US or playing out in US, the one that played out in Brazil, the one that played out in Kenya, and several other countries, you tremble that, undemocratic elements will be calling for interim government. What many people do not know is that the worst form of democratic government is better than the best form of military rule. Because under military rule, as the late head of state of Uganda, Ijami said, there is freedom of movement, freedom of speech in Uganda, but freedom after speech is not guaranteed. And that is to tell you that civil liberties that we currently enjoy, where some people can even come on social media and lambast the president, the first lady, their governors, and get away with it. They cannot do that under a military thing. The fact that we are suing institutions of governance and calling them out and asking for accountability will not happen under a military. An interim national government is unknown to Nigeria Constitution, and you cannot go and put it there. The Constitution has not been amended since that time to allow for interim government. So invariably, those who are calling for interim government are actually indirectly calling for military rule, the military takeover. And we need to watch these people very closely. Because, Lawrence, this is how it happened in Niger Republic. This is how it happened in Burkina Faso. This is how it happened in Guinea-Bissau. This is how it has happened in several other countries where there is military takeover. We must not allow that to continue. We have had uninterrupted 24 years of civil rule, 7 general elections, irrespective of your dissatisfaction with the outcome of 2023 presidential election or the other layers of election. The courts are there to do substantial justice. Look, last Friday, the court has restored the mandate of Ademola Adeleke as the governor of Osun State. That was the same election that election petition tribunal nullified in January. Now, the same court has come out to say, look, the lower court edge, and they have restored. And that's why, Lawrence, I do not want people in my constituency, the civil society and the media, to join the narrative of the political class who are trying to outfit themselves to undermine the democratic project of Nigeria by describing the 2023 election as the worst. Because this narrative fits very well into the agenda of the political elite who are identified as the worst couple who have not allowed us to have seamless, credible, peaceful elections. Look, I keep saying, when people say, oh, this election is the worst, oh, truly, the election that created so many upsets is the worst. The election where incumbent governors in 7 states could not win election into Senate. Senate is 1/3 of the state. And somebody has served as governor of the state for 8 years. And he could not win election into 1/3 of the state. And you said that election is stolen. The election is the Zamfara governor Bello Matawale has considered defeat. The APC governorship candidate in Kano has considered defeat. And you are saying that the election where the incumbent president-elect lost Lagos State for the first time, Lagos State. The national chairman of APC lost Nasarawa State, and the national chairman of PDP lost Benue State. You are calling that election a sham. This fits into the narrative of the political class, who themselves are the culprits that have not allowed us to have seamless, smooth elections. Look, in this election, Lawrence, 21 people were killed. Is it INEC that killed those people? Is it INEC that arranged for 19 of his adult staff to be abducted in Umotte? Is it INEC that arranged for that staff of the commission that was murdered? Is it INEC that arranged for his death? Right now, it was in the I think the punch of 2 days ago, where they said 6 INEC staff that were abducted in Kogi State has not been released by the abductor, who is asking for 50 million naira. So, who are the people behind this electoral violence, voter intimidation, what other things they do experience, vote buy or vote trading? Who are the people behind it? Is it not the same political class? Can any of the dominant party claim that they did not attempt to rig in their place of strength, in their stronghold? Can they lay claim? Can they stand on the word of God, whether Quran or Bible, and swear that they did not try to take advantage in their stronghold? That they are now a seamless exercises in their own stronghold. So a court is calling a devil black, and we in the media, we in the civil society are joining their own narrative. We are allowing ourselves to be used as the cannon fodder. We are deciding, instead of us to commend INEC for pulling this election through in a very difficult circumstance, we join the narrative to condemn, and some of us are also joining the political class to say, oh, if a man is robbed of victory and he has to go to court, know that his elder brother or his father is the judge. Is that the narrative you should be telling? So you want us to lose faith in the judiciary. But it is the judiciary that brought us to this circle season election in 8 states. It's the judiciary that restored the mandate of Rotimi in Rivers State. It's the judiciary that restored the mandate of Aregbesola in Osun. It's the judiciary that restored the mandate of Olusegun Mimiko in Ondo State. It's the judiciary that restored the mandate of Adams Oshiomhole in Edo State. It's the judiciary that restored the mandate of Opozodinma in Imo. It's the judiciary that restored the mandate of several other people. I have just cited that of Ademola Adeleke. So when you join the narrative to condemn this 2023 election, not looking, and I said this on several media platforms. I said yes, the election was not perfect, but for God's sake, let's do the statistics. For anybody to be classified as having scored A in a particular exam, it does not mean that he scored 100% in that subject. You and I went to school, Lawrence. 75. Once you score 75 marks in any subject, you are an A candidate. You are an A student. But you didn't score 100%. You missed 25%. You missed 25 marks. So, but the school will still award you A. So, it then means that you are not, the school system, the examination system is also not expecting you to be perfect before it awards you excellence grade. That you can still miss 25 and still be confirmed with being an excellent student. Tells you that election, which is also an human endeavor, does not have to be perfect before you score that election as being good. And I've said, this election, my own characterization of this is that yes, INEC may not have lived optimally, but we did not have a choice election. It was a successful election. It was a largely peaceful election. It was an election that reflected the wishes of many Nigerians across the country.
Okay.
So why will we be joining the political class who themselves are the ones that resorted to self-help, trying to destroy this democracy, to now join them in condemning 2023 election? We need to re-examine ourselves.
All right, Jide, yes, I guess we need to move on. Yes, well put. I really appreciate your standpoint and where you're coming from. Maybe what we need in Nigeria is to refresh our memories, just like you said, about the past, about what's been happening, about the consequences of sometimes what we desire. And also, as Nigerians, especially the younger Nigerians, also need to be cautious because just like you said, these politicians and wherever the people trying to write these narratives, they are not oblivious of the consequences of what they are doing, but they just want to further their interests and everything. For us, especially in the media, I think the ultimate is that Nigeria needs to move ahead and Nigeria needs to be stable, because it's only a stable country that you can rule over. It's only a stable country that you can talk about infrastructure and so many other things. And also, there are provisions to ventilate our grievances and stuff like that. So those are issues that we need to do some self.
Sorry, Lauren. Let me change this thing to refresh the memory of our listeners. When Arab Spring happened in about 2014 or thereabouts, and there was wave of protest against civil authorities in northern Nigeria, in northern Africa. Who took over in Egypt? A military general, General Sisi, and now he has transformed into a civilian president in Egypt. The same thing with the wave of protest against Sudan al-Bashir, Omar al-Bashir. Since that time that they ousted Omar al-Bashir, Sudan has not made peace. The military took over. There has been sustained protest. You want military to go. Now they are doing directly, sharing power with the civilian, yet all this has not led to credible elections being conducted. So we need to just be very mindful of what is going on around the place. That disputed election does not necessarily confer that the election was was not successful. People will always have issues with election, and I do understand. I concede to those who are calling out and saying, "Oh, this election did not go too well." Yes, it may not have gone too well. And don't also forget that people who contested, the frontline candidates in this election, may have spent themselves into bankruptcy. I don't know if you get it.
Yeah.
They have spent themselves into bankruptcy. Look at how much the nomination forms of these frontline candidates, frontline political parties, look at their nomination form. Now, after paying so much for APC, 100 million naira for nomination form, for PDP, 40 million naira for nomination form for president, the list for governorship in APC is 50 million, in PDP is 20 million. Down the line. Then after that, you go and contest. You spend so much money inducing different party, different candidates, different aspirants, induce delegates, undermine the credibility of their own internal election, and they eventually emerge as candidates. Now they have spent so much money to campaign for 150 days. Now they have also induced voters, buying votes, and when they lose ultimately, they are looking for money to pay lawyers. So it is in their interest to republic to want to destroy the house because it's their way or highway. But we must not join their narrative. That is my cocoa.
Okay.
That is the gist.
Jide, we
Let
really
us
need to
follow
move on.
their own narrative because they are self-serving. And their interest is what is permanent in their mind, not their party platform. Today you see somebody who was an APC keeper. 2 months down the line, it becomes a PDP keeper or Labour Party keeper. So don't fight their battles. They know what they are aiming at, and their own children and their own grandchildren have been relocated abroad. So they will not join you in this violent protest, and when the consequences of military takeover come, they will not be allowed us to suffer under that. So God forbid that we should invite the military to take over governance in Nigeria.
Okay, God forbid. Especially for those of us in the media, we know what happened in those days, that we were reporters under the military era. A day hardly passed without a mark on your back, without some kicking and shoving, without some detentions and stuff like that. But then, that's a story for another day. Jide, we need to take a short break. And when we return, we will look at the political parties and how they have conducted themselves over the years. Insights will return in a moment. Please don't go away.
Investigations, special reports, analysis, and breaking news. Premium Times, a leading multimedia news platform, brings to you every minute stories that helps you make informed decisions and hold public officials, individuals, and organizations accountable. We have cartoons, videos, podcasts, and other interesting content for your delight. For timely update on politics, entertainment, sport, and business, visit our website on www.premiumtimesng.com and follow us on all our social media platforms. Don't miss out.
Citizen FM Abuja.
Thank you for staying tuned. It's still Insight on Citizen FM 93.7, and my guest has been Jide Ojo, a development expert and also a friend of the house. And we are looking at the activities of political parties over the years, and especially after this set of elections. We're doing a sort of retrospect. What are these political parties doing right? If at all they are doing anything right, what should they be doing? What essentially is the role of a political party, and so many other issues that we need to look at. And I hope that we'll have the time to look at a lot of all this. Jide, thank you for standing by.
My pleasure.
Yeah, so quickly, let's look at the let's start this way. You know, political scientists, when we were in school, they would tell us that a political party is based on ideological beliefs. The political party is the engine that runs the government. Can we really say that of our political parties today? Exactly. Do these political parties fit in to that narrative that we've always been told of? Hello, Jide, are you there? Yeah.
Yeah, there was an intervention.
Okay.
Yes. Can we really say what?
I said, can we really say that the parties we have today fit into this expectation of a group of people who have same ideological belief and who intend to pursue such when they get power?
Well, to an extent, yes. But they fall short in several respects. Before a party is registered, there are certain basic requirements made of it, or made of the association, which is that they must draw their ideology from Chapter 2 of the Constitution. They must have executive that is reflective of the federal character. That's from 2/3 of the country and all of that. So on paper, yes, we can say that. But in reality, I would say Nigerian political parties are just special purpose vehicles that is used to rise to power. They are most visible in electoral contestation. And yes, we are taught in the literature, in political party literature, that parties do not just exist to contest election. Although, if you go check Section 223 of the Constitution, the definition given to political party is very narrow, which limits them to contesting election. I mean, I think Section 226, if my memory serves me right,
yes.
223 talks about the federal character nature of political party. So what I'm saying invariably is that if you look at the textbook definition, yes, the registered political parties have some form of ideology. They have met the federal character principle as requested of them in Section 223 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. But in reality, they are just like platforms for contesting the election.
Okay.
And in that respect, they fall short of what is generally expected of them.
Okay, Jide, thank God that you brought about this issue, those requirements for approving or, setting up political parties. There are some who question these constitutional requirements for a national appeal. Why should a political party have its headquarters in Abuja, for example? Why should a political party's membership reflect federal character or national character? What if people just want to set up a political party for local government election, just for a particular local government? Should we be thinking about this maybe moving forward?
Well, there is an issue to that, Lawrence. The issue was that in the First Republic, starting to January 15, 1966, we have a largely unregulated political party. And that time you have even provision in the 1960 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which allows for independent candidacy. So some people even contested the election as independent. One of them is the millionaire of that time, candidate Darocha, who contested the election into Lagos Assembly as an independent. I think he didn't win. So we used to have these political parties that exist only at the local government, at the regional level. That time we have the United Middle Belt Congress, UNDC. We have Northern People's Congress. We have the Action Group. We have the NCLC. We have so many political parties that even Borno Coalition for Democracy and all of that. So do you have those parties, some of them just wanting to contest election at regional level, some that want to contest at the national level, which is just like it's happening with the banking sector after Soludo's merger and acquisition of the bank in 2005 or 2008. I've forgotten. But you know, when Professor Soludo did merger and acquisition of banks, there are now regional banks that operate at regional level, and those that operate at the national level, and those that operate at the international level. So we used to have that with political parties many decades ago in the First Republic, but unfortunately the experience of the January 15, 1966 coup and subsequently the Civil War of 1967 to 1970 made the framers of 1979 Constitution to now try to move Nigeria from the path of regional politics. I don't know if you get my
but it doesn't look as if they succeeded. We still have that sentiment.
They have not succeeded. No, they have not succeeded, Lawrence. But I'm saying there is history behind it. This is what I'm trying to explain. That there should be parties, that all parties should be national in outlook, which is why they now came up with this Section 223, or in fact, the entire Section 221 to 229 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, talks about political parties and what is expected of them. 227 talks about them not having militias, not using militias for protection. 225 talks about accountability in terms of funding. 226, 223 talks about legislation, provision, and all of that. But, you know, in all of this, like rightly pointed out, the framers of the Constitution have not succeeded. Because today, when you say Abuja, as they call it in local parlance, Abuja, you know it's the party. Abuja has not been able to win election in other parts of the country beyond the southeast. So, and then when you talk of a party like PRP, it's also largely limited to.
Hello.
And likewise, AD, Alliance for Democracy, was largely seen as a Southwest party in 1999, up until the merger that took place in 2013. So that is why I agree with you that they have not, the framers have not largely, the only national party we had prior to now was People's Democratic Party that have been able to win pan-Nigeria mandate. After that is the All Progressive Congress, which has also now become the other dominant political party that has won pan-Nigeria mandate.
Okay.
And now Labour Party is struggling to also come third as a pan-Nigeria political party. So, but it is believed that political parties will that there will be evolution, and that even though they may look, many of the parties may look like regional or local at this time, if they sustain and consciously build their party, they can actually become national platform. Look at Labour Party. Labour Party has been in existence since, I think, 2002. Has been in existence, but it has been largely unknown, except for when Dr. Olusegun Obasanjo from those states decided in 2006 or 2007 to go and run from the governorship of Ogun State under Labour Party. The party was relatively unknown. In fact, many people will think that Labour Party was newly registered. Of course, ahead of 2023 national elections or 2023 general elections, no political party was registered by INEC. But it tells you that if a platform is sustained over a long period of time, it may transform. And that's what Labour Party in 2023 has tried to do. Winning the election in Kaduna, winning the election in Benue, winning the election in Nasarawa, winning the election in Lagos. These are uncharted territory for Labour Party before the coming in of Peter Obi as their presidential candidate. And you can see the exponential number of people who have registered to be members of the Labour Party. This is a party that has been in existence for over 20 years.
Okay, Jide, now let's look at the core of the matter. Every time this issue comes up, the issue of internal democracy in political parties, a lot of things. We remember what happened before the various primaries, before the national conventions of especially the major political parties, how rules were discarded, how members headed to the court, so many things. What is it about political parties in Nigeria that internal rules cannot be adhered to? Where do we start looking at? Is it how these political parties were formed? Is it the structures of the party? What exactly is the problem?
Okay, the problem lies with the structure. The structure and ownership of the party. I may sound a bit technical here for those who are listening to me, but note that parties are supposed to be funded by who? By the members.
Yes.
Unfortunately, my brother, go and check the membership register and go and check the account of the party. See what the word of Umotte came up with over the weekend. That as the national chairman of the party, he's not paying membership due. Are you with me?
Absolutely.
Who should lead? He has not come out to say they are lying against it. They say, look, come and tell us why you pay membership due to this party for which you are national chairman. So the structure is such that, like I said, political parties have been turned to special purpose vehicles that comes alive at every preparation for elections, and after the election, a month or two after the election, it becomes dormant. Many political parties have observed constitutional provisions in breach. If you permit me, I can read out what the law says about even in terms of regular elections within the party. But you find out that there are some political parties that have not changed their leadership over a long period of time. If you permit me, let me read the constitutional provision on this, so that it's very clear.
Okay.
Are you with me?
Yes.
So I've just gone to fetch my copy of the Constitution, because it's very important to know where the rain started beating us with political parties. If a national party chairman of PDP will not pay membership due, how then do you want to convince members of the party to pay? So let me read out section 223, at least to section 223 sub 1 says the constitution and rules of a political party shall provide for the periodical election on a democratic basis of the principal officers and members of the executive committee or other governing body of the political party. Do we have periodic elections in many of the parties? Is the same face you will see from inception. There are those parties who the party chairman is also the presidential candidate. Have you not seen that even in this election, The national chairman of the party is also the one that transforms as the presidential candidate of the party. Are you saying there are no other members that could be sponsored to be the presidential candidate? Why do you want to be the national chairman as well as the presidential candidate? I'm still reading section 223. Part B. It says ensure that members of the executive committee or other governing body of the political party reflect the federal character of Nigeria. I'm reading from section 223. Federal character of Nigeria. And from section 2 of section 223 says, for the purpose of this section, A, the election of the officers of members of the executive committee or other governing body of the political party shall be deemed to be periodical only if it is made at regular intervals of not exceeding 4 years. So the Constitution even prescribes that periodic election must be every 4 years. But we have political parties in Nigeria that will not organize any elective congress or convention in 10 years. It's the same old face you see. Look at what happened with ADC. ADC that suspended the presidential candidate. The presidential candidate, Pachuku, went to court and got the chairman, the national chairman of the party, also suspended, or is it that his tenure has expired and he should not? That is when they are preparing for 2023 election. It's a Sakanya with that body.
Okay, Jide.
You suspended your presidential candidate, and then you want the vote to accrue to that person. So let me finally read the last part of the section 223. 2B says the members of the executive committee or other governing body of the political party shall be deemed to reflect the federal character of Nigeria only if the members thereof belong to different states, not being less in number than 2/3 of all the states comprising the federation. You see?
Okay.
So,
hello, Jide. Oops, I think we lost him again. Thank you for staying tuned. It's still Insight on Citizen FM. We have 2 minutes to go, and Jide is back online. Jide, we're about to wrap up. But before we wrap up, Jide, political commentators are worried about what they call a major problem in the political party, and that is the defection of candidates once elected. Should we begin to start looking at a constitutional amendments towards this? Because for the members of the parliament, the constitution specifies when and how a candidate should defect, but there are also loopholes that a lot of these candidates use. But for the executive arm of government, there is really nothing about that. So you now find people who become governors and they now move freely to another political party. If you can address that in just about a minute before we round up,
okay.
Please.
So let me say, and this is very important. I mentioned this before we start. When political parties are accusing INEC of conducting shambolic elections, ask them Ask those party leaders what kind of election did they conduct in their primary for 2023. When over 600 petitions are there at the various courts, the court has not yet expended the petition arising from many of the party primaries. So what are we talking about? Internal party democracy. So coming to the issue of defection, unfortunately, as Raleigh pointed out, the law, the constitution does not have position to bar any executive from defecting from one party to another, which is what has happened with Bello Matawalle, who came in under the platform of PDP and defected 1 year into his administration to APC. But you know, he was punished in this election. He was punished for his disloyalty to the PDP, which is why he lost signally to the opposition in this 2023 election, even as a sitting governor. But Section 16 from Section 1G of the Constitution have already stated for parliamentarians or for lawmakers, whether at federal or state level, the law is very clear that unless there is a division at the national level of the party, not at the world level, not at the local government level, not at the state level, at the national, if there is no crisis, you cannot defect. But what these characters do is that they even orchestrate that problem, they orchestrate that division so that they can justify their defection from maybe opposition party to ruling party. And the court has come out on some of them. I recall that there is a member of House of Reps who defected in Ondo State, and the court sacked him because the court said that he has no right to have defected because there is no crisis at his party, in his party at the national level. So it's an evolving democracy. We will not get there in 24 years. It's still a marathon. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. But we should be patient. We should be patient and not call for the throwing away of the baby with the bathwater. And so many of the political elites who lost out in this 2023 election are trying to say. And we should not join them. We people in the media and civil society, we should refrain from parroting what the political class are saying, because they are not any better. I've just challenged you. Go and check out what kind of party primaries were conducted by these three political parties ahead of 2023 election.
Okay.
That the court have been inundated with seeking redress arising from nomination of candidates, despite the use of the money that these aspirants pay to the party post.
All right, Jide, we have to leave it at that. Thank you so much, Jide Ojo, a friend of the house, also a development expert, for your interventions. We're really grateful. Ever dependable, ever reliable, Jide Ojo. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Do have a great day.
And you too. Well, that's the package on Insight today. The program returns on Monday with another edition. Patrick, so sorry, your message just came in. I can't read it. Well, we take note of it. And also, Insight next week, we will look at other critical elements of our democracy. My name is Lawrence Umotte. News on the Hour comes out at 11 o'clock. And after that, Premium Times Half Hour will be next. Please do have a lovely day ahead.
Investigations, special reports, analysis, and breaking news. Premium Times, a leading multimedia news platform, brings to you every